Hi there, Mystery Baker here. Hope you're all doing well. If you've been busy making all your Christmas cakes and you've been wondering, what should I decorate it with? Well, how about this fondant gingerbread man? He's adorable. I've made a little hat to go on top and a bow. And if you want to know how I did this, keep on watching. Okay, so let's get started. So we're going to start with the body. So I've cut a little bit of the fondant away and I will wrap the rest up for later. Always keep it covered because it does dry out. Okay, now this fondant will go a little bit lighter once you've added your CMC powder, and the CMC powder allows it to become more pliable, and it acts like, I suppose, modeling clay, and it will go hard. Okay, it will go hard. So this is going to be the body, so I'll show you how much I add. I've got my fondant here and I'm just going to dip it in. Give it a nice coverage and a little bit on the bottom, like that. I'm dipping it in and that's all you need. A little goes a long way, okay? A little goes a long way. And I'm going to knead that through, okay? I'm going to show you this part. I won't show you me adding the CMC again. I don't tend to add the CMC to all of it. I add the CMC Tylose powder as I go. So I'm just going to make it into a sausage shape and then bring it in on itself and then roll again, but I'll do it very fast. But that's basically just ensuring that all that CMC Tylose powder is going through the complete piece of fondant. And that's it, okay? So now I'm just going to leave that for 2 minutes. I'm going to put the kettle on, leave it for 2 minutes, and then we'll begin. But I just wanted to show you how I handle my fondant. And I'll repeat that process throughout when I'm making my gingerbread man, okay? So, kettle on. And I suggest you do the same. So I've made myself a coffee and I'm back. So I've had a couple of minutes to set, so I'm just going to warm this back up in my hands, okay? So I'm just rolling it into a ball, okay? And some people, once they've added the CMC, they leave it for hours, but I tend to not bother with that. I just add it and leave it for a bit. 5 minutes, 10 minutes max, before I start working with it. It doesn't need overnight, I don't think. That's my opinion. So I'm just rolling it and smoothing it out. Can you see? And the warmth of my hands is doing that. And because I've used chocolate fondant and it does smell and taste like chocolate, it has an oil in it which allows it to keep longer, and it's easier to work with actually. So great for my beginners. So I'm just rolling, removing any creasing than when it was in the cling film. Okay. Now I know my tutorials can sometimes appear to be a little drawn out, but that's because these tutorials are for beginners, and I know the fast forward videos are really good to look at, but for a beginner's perspective, they don't know why you're doing it and how. Okay, so I've got my piece of fondant here. We're going to make their body, okay, the body of the gingerbread man or woman, whichever. And I'm going to place it in my hand. I'm going to make the neck. So with a finger, just going to place it on there and rub it down. So we start rolling, rolling, and rolling, and moving the ball around your hand as well. Okay. You see? Like that. And then at the neck, we're just going to make that a little bit thinner. Just a little, okay? Easy. Easy. And we want our gingerbread man to be nice and round. So gravity has a way of pulling down anyway, so it'll give him a nice big round tummy. You see? Like that. And then go into the neck again and just narrow that ever so slightly, okay? And then choose your side, and I just rub with my fingers. You can add some shortening to your fingers if it's a bit dry, but you won't have that problem with chocolate fondant. And I'm just smoothing out any indentations that my fingers have made. There, how cute. I'll sit him down. Sit down, Mrs. Gingerbread Woman, man. All right, okay. And then what I'm going to do with the ball tool, just to add a little bit of detail, not much, just going to add a tummy button. And it's with the ball tool. I might even put an embellishment on there. I might put a little real button or a fondant button. But I'm giving it a belly button. How cute. Okay. I'm going to sit him there now. And before I stop and let this rest, I'm going to get a cocktail stick, toothpick cocktail stick. I'm going to place a little bit of glue on the end, because when we make the head, we've got extra support. All right. So, pick up cocktail stick and very gently push that through, like that. I don't like lifting, but yeah, yeah. And I'm going to leave that now, and I'm going to come back. We're going to start the legs, okay? I'm going to have my cuppa, grab my cuppa, ha ha. Back in a bit. Okay, so I've added a little bit of CMC to a ball of fondant, and I'm just rolling it. Left it for a minute or so, like that. And we're going to make the legs. So what I do is I make a sausage shape, my version of, not a long one, just a small one, and then I find halfway, a roundabout, and then I've got my two legs, so they're round about the same size. I'll just put this one away in the cling film, leaving me with this. So again, back into a ball, warm it up in your hands, like so, like that. How cute. And again, we're going to make the leg. So that's going to be the end of the leg. So we're going to turning it as we go, keeping that ball at the end. I like that shape. And moving my finger down the fondant. We're making like a cone. You see? We're making a cone shape. And again, rolling it down my finger like that. You see? Like that? Like a teardrop. Like a teardrop. Just bring him in. Bring him in. I'm just going to size that. Yeah, perfect. So what I'm going to do here, I don't know if it's picking up, but as we approach the end, I just want to flatten it down. Okay. Flatten that edge. Okay. And then with a little bit of glue, just a touch, I'm going to, rather than put the glue on the leg, I'm going to put it onto here, because you can transfer it onto your fingers and it becomes very, very greasy. Very, very greasy and sticky. And then bring it over like so, pushing that in and around using my fingers like that. Can you see? How adorable. And I'm going to repeat the process, and rather than do it and show you, I'll just repeat the process off camera, and I'll come back when both legs are on. Back in a bit. Okay, so while we're waiting for the legs just to dry, I've come back in and I've just took a little edge of cocktail stick. You can use fresh pasta, like dried pasta, if you want to make it 100% edible. And with a little bit of glue, I'm just going to put some on the end that I'm going to insert for the arms. I'll start with this one first. I'm just going to place it in like that. Keeping it upright like that. And again at this side, just a little bit of glue on the end and place it in where I want. I'm going to do it slightly different angle like that, so the arms aren't exact. And I'm going to leave that now, couple of minutes, maybe 10, maybe 15. So you might want to walk the dog, hoover around, or in my case, just sit around with a cup of coffee and relax. Back in a bit to start the head. Okay, so I'm going to start the arms actually, because I'm going to put a bow on this gingerbread man. I've had a rejig. So I'm going to put a bow on this gingerbread man around his neck. So I'm going to do the arms first, and you'll see why I did the arms first. Roll the sausage shape, find round about the centre, round about, and they're the two arms there. Again, put one away while you're waiting for the other. Again, roll in a ball. I've added some CMC Talos powder to it and waited a couple of minutes. And there you can see my ball. I've burnt my finger. If you ever see marks on me, they're usually burns because I do a lot of cooking and baking. Oh dear. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign, having lots of burns. But anyway, here we go. So, there we have. And we're going to make the arm in the same way as we made the legs. So, it's a little bit smaller, but we're going to again roll into thinning out at the end, leaving a nice ball at the end for the hand. Okay, and then we're going to thin this out as we go along. Okay, you see, a nice long shape. Okay, and then near the paw or the arm, just thinning that out just to emphasize that ball. Okay, just to emphasize, and thin out like so. Like that. You see? Like a very elongated teardrop. Okay, I hope that's picking up. I'll bring him in. Hello. Good evening, gingerbread man. Good evening. I'm just going to measure him. We might have to do... Yeah, that's fine. So, we can always cut off any excess. Don't ever worry. And look, if you make a mistake, if you do make a mistake, try again. Start again. So I'm just putting a little bit of the glue, or you can use water, and a little bit around there, okay, just a touch. And obviously that will help to adhere. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to add it. So hope this picks up. Might need to cut off a little, just a touch, just a touch. And I'm going to cut off in an angle, all right, to make that even pointier. All right. I'm going to insert it there, like that. Can you see? And push down. Push down, like that. Sorry if I'm in your way here. I am so sorry. Keeping the roundness of the shape. And then at the bottom, I want to turn it out. Because I want it to look like he's putting his hand out to rest it. Okay, pushing down. Sorry, pushing down. You see? Like that. Okay. And rather than bore you, I'll do the same at this side. I might actually come in, I don't know, but because I'm going to put his arm in a different position. So I might actually come in and I'll pause it now and come back when I bring the other arm in, back in a bit. Okay, I've come back in. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the other side. I've made the same teardrop shape as I did last time. But this time I'm going to change the angle. Okay, change the angle. Can do adjusting later. So I'm going to push that in, like that. I hope it's picking up. Don't worry if there's any excess. Don't worry. You can trim it like so, and you won't see it when I put my bow on. You won't see it. You see him coming together now? He's looking rather adorable, don't you think? Isn't he just? And look, you can add as much detail as you want. I try not to do too much detail for my beginners, but if you want, with a scribing tool, you can make some creases here, as you would if it was a, you know, a real hand, you can make a little mark here, like so, like that. But there you have him. And he's kind of done. There's little details that we'll add in, but there's his body done, and he looks so chilled and relaxed now, doesn't he? And I'm going to leave this now just for about half an hour now, and I'll probably get some lunch if I can squeeze a nice sarnie in. And when we come back, we will start on the bow and then the head. Back in a bit. Okay, so before we start the head, I want to start off this bow, okay? So what I tend to do is with a little bit of brown fondant, just a little tiny piece, roll it into a ball. Okay, it's just the gingerbread colour that you've made. Put a little bit of glue on that. And we're just going to make a little bit of a neck. Okay, so you just place it on like that. Okay, and I'll pat it down there like that. Okay. Okay, so just do that. It just helps when you place the head on to get it into a better position. Okay, a better lying position. So I'll move that out of the way. And I've got some red fondant here. I've added a tiny touch of CMC. I'll just cut off the edge. I don't need that much. I wouldn't have thought. All right, so I'll see if I can just zoom this in a little. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the ends. I'm just going to pinch the ends. And I'll show you in more detail in a second. So I'm just pinching the ends in, like so. Okay, pinching the ends in. Whoop. Can you see? Can you see I'm pinching the ends in? And the reason for that is because I'm using a rather small piece of fondant, which is going to be the tie that goes around the bow, around the neck, sorry. When you turn it over, it makes a wonderful edge, a wonderful smooth edge, okay, like that, see? And not a jagged edge. Just a little trick that I've picked up over the years. So with a little bit of glue, just going to tie that knot, tie this around the neck using a little bit of glue. And then nip it at the back. Okay, then with a scalpel, just cut off any excess, like that, make it neat. And that's the tie for your bow. Do you understand why we put that little piece of brown in there now? You see? Okay, looking cute. And when I come back, we're going to start this head after all. Back in a bit.